If there's only one God, why does Hinduism have so many gods? What is the best form of worship to include in our daily routine? Well, it's a question I've answered many times before. I don't mind answering it again. I think it's a major misconception that there are many gods in Hinduism. First of all, to be honest with you, there is nothing called Hinduism. There is no religion called Hinduism. In none of the Vedic scriptures, in our Upanishads, in our tantric text, in the yogic scriptures, in Vedanga, Upanga, in Ayurveda, in Vyakarana, there is no mention of the word Hindu. The term is Sanatan. Sanatan means ever existing. You see, there are monotheist religions. They say there is only one form of God, worship that God, and it creates a better order in the society. Please always remember, religion is not independent of the society. So it creates better order in the society that you worship my form, he will make your dreams come true, you will have all sorts of things, you distribute his books, if you don't, you'll go to hell. That's one way. But there are religions, the ancient religions, never had a concept of one God. Because the concept of one form, for me to have the concept of one God means I have to say there is one specific form God has. But if He's infinite, how can He have forms? Sometimes on my blog when I write, I use the word universe. Nobody has ever asked me a question, what is the form of the universe? But if I write the word God, people will think, oh, God has to have a form. I don't believe in a supernatural creator, for the record. I don't believe that somebody created this whole universe with a thought or with the body. I believe there is a God. There is not, I like to rephrase, not there is a God. There is God, which is the essence of everything there is. Everything I can't put in words, to me that's God. Love could be God, hatred could be God, all emotions could be God. That was the Vedic way. Everything is God. So I have a lot of questions, but I'd like to tell you a little story. I was coming down from the Eastern Himalayas. I'm going to rush it through, please bear with me. And I had somebody sit next to me, just actually behind me in a taxi, shared taxi. So he said, can I ask you a question? He said, why do you have so many gods in Hinduism? I said, who told you there are many gods in Hinduism? He said, well, you know, nobody has to tell me. If you go into any home, if you go to any temple, there are all these gods there. I said, tell me something. If you wear a new shirt every day and you step out of your house, do you become a new person or are you the same person? He said, of course I'm the same person. I said, well, it's the same God. Just wearing different shirt for you. You like green, he'll wear green. You like red, he'll wear red. जिसने जैसे ढाया उसने वैसे पाया, the way somebody perceived. If God can assume the form you want him to assume, then he is really not God, is he? If he's stuck with one form, then he's not really God. I said, but tell me, then he was quiet. Then he said, after a little while, a few minutes passed by, he said, actually, Swamiji, I used to be a Hindu. I said, well, good for you. He said, now I'm a Christian. I said, even better. He said, really? I said, yeah, why not? What's wrong with it? He said, why being Christian better? I said, no, you're happy, right? You're happier being a Christian, aren't you? He said, yes. I said, that's why it's better. We need a happy person. The world could do with one more happy person, you know. I said, now it's my turn, my time to ask you a question. I said, have you seen Christ? Have you had an encounter with Jesus Christ? He said, no. I said, so I want to tell you something. Earlier, when you were a Hindu, you were living in a set of dogmas. You were born in it. Somebody told you this is a temple, you prayed there. Somebody said this is God, you prayed there. You bowed your head wherever you were told. You were living in a set of dogmas. You had no discovery of your own. You were told certain things. You took them to be the truth and you went on. Now, all you have done is move from one set of dogmas to another. Now also you haven't got your own discovery, you haven't realized your own truth, you haven't experienced Christ. What is Christianity? Christ stood for forgiveness, he stood for purity, he stood for compassion. Do you have these attributes in you? If not, you are not a Christian. And if you don't have the cosmic acceptance that everything could be right, you're not a Hindu. If you are set that this is the way, you're not a Hindu. Because that's what that religion taught. Then there could be two truths. So I said some charming person, some good orator, some fabulous guy came along, talked to you about another religion, you got impressed, you got fascinated, you made the jump. So there are not many gods in Hinduism. It's like everybody thinks my parents are the best. Actually, not everybody thinks that, but but it's like, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your God. How does it matter what form, what name you want to give? And what should you have? What is the best form to worship? The form you can concentrate on is the best to worship. The form that attracts you. There was a seeker, and he saw a saint one day meditating. He went to the saint. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm meditating." He said, "What is meditation?" He said, "You don't know what is meditation? Your whole life is a waste. You took human birth and you don't meditate, you don't spend time praying to the Lord? What a waste of life." He said, "I'm really sorry. What do I do? How do I fix it? What do I need to do?" He said, "Go sit. What do you do?" He said, I'm a farmer. I'm a shepherd, basically. I spend my time with the cows and sheep, my cattle. He said, "Well, every day when they're grazing, go in a remote spot, in an isolated spot, and meditate on the form of the Lord, and then you will be doing something good." He said, "Okay, I can do that." He tries, but each time he's trying to meditate on God, he is getting just baffled with all these thoughts from all over the world. 55 directions, he can't focus, he can't concentrate, he's just waiting for this thing to be over. And he goes to the saint a week later. He goes to the saint a week later and says, I tried, but I couldn't really focus on anything. I couldn't make it part of my daily routine. I couldn't do that. The saint said, "Okay, who do you love the most? Or what do you love the most?" He said, "I love my cattle the most. They bring me bread and butter. So I love them the most. I can't ever see them in pain at all." He said, "Okay, any particular cow, bull, sheep you love the most?" He said, "Yes, there is one particular bull. He's my most favorite bull. He always plows in the fields and stuff, helps me big time." He said, "Okay, I want you to go and meditate on that bull. I just want you to think about that bull. That's all I want you to do." He says, "Okay, and then report back to me 3 days later if you're progressing." So this guy goes, 3 days go by, he doesn't return. 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, he's thinking, "I have to go check up on this guy," the same things. He goes to this person, he's in a cave. He says, "Are you in there?" He said, "Yes, I'm in here." "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm meditating." "All right, come out, I need to talk to you." He said, "I can't come out. That's why I've been able to see you for a week." "Why can't you come out?" He said, "Because the horns are too big. When I try to come out of the cave, it's getting stuck in the door." You perhaps didn't get it. I'll help. You see, he loved his bull. It was easier for him to meditate on the bull, and he meditated so intensely that he started feeling, "I am the bull." This is the essence of meditation, of all practices, of all religion, of all, I don't know what word is there, routine, spiritual, religious, that you become God, or at least godlike. And it's easier to meditate on something or somebody you actually love. When you're in love, you're constantly thinking about that person, sometimes even at the cost of their own peace. You're thinking about that person, you want to call them, you want to email them, you want to talk to them. So meditate on the form or worship the form or pray to the form you have the affinity for. If somebody tells you this form won't do any good, go worship another form, that person has absolutely no clue what they're talking about. Don't listen to them.